Now let's talk about a very, very important concept of how to hold pads properly to make sure that my partner is getting great training and to make sure that I'm keeping myself safe and not getting hurt. So we're going to discuss a few different pads today. First one we'll start with here is focus mitts. Now you can have round focus mitts, you could have square target focus mitts, anything that's really going on your hand. So when we do this, and I'm putting on the focus mitts, a couple things that we need to think about. First off is I'm always going to be in my stance when I'm the mitt holder. I'm never just going to have my feet together because when he goes and punches, it's going to kind of knock me back. Plus, I'm not getting adequate training. I want to make sure that I'm in the fight too. I'm moving around. I'm working on stuff as a pad holder. I'm not just going to go through the motions. Other things that I can do as a pad holder is watch his body. How's he moving? So this is kind of a little bit more advanced, but what are his gives? Like, what does he do before he throws a jab or cross or hook or whatever combo we're working on? And read that. What does he do with his hands? Does he drop a hand? So I can kind of help him out as well. You know, if I notice that he's dropping his right, so let's say he's doing jab, cross, hook, but then he drops that right really low when he throws that hook punch, you know, I'll kind of help him out a little bit. You know, if the instructor's on the other side of the floor, I can say, hey, I saw you dropping that hand, try to keep it up on that hook. And then we go right back to it. So those are, first off, very, very important psychological things before we even get into it. The next thing is when we have the mitts, I want to make sure like I'm holding the basketball. Everything's going to be in nice and tight. All right, so it's right here in front of me. Like I said, the dimensions of a basketball, this is how close I am with the focus mitts. And also, I want to make sure that I give a little bit of contact. Now, I'm not going to do a whole lot to where I'm smacking down here because then I could end up hurting his wrist. But at the same time, there needs to be a little bit of give as he punches here. So whatever it is that we're doing, I just go a little bit forward, nothing too crazy, and I'm smacking down at him. Also, I never, ever, ever want to hold pads here. Okay, not a lot of people's heads are that big physically, maybe mentally, but if I'm doing that and he's punching really hard, he can hurt my shoulder. Okay, we don't want to get any injuries. That's why we're always out in our fighting stance. And we're just doing a little bit of force on force. Now, when we hold for hooks or uppercuts, I'm not going to drop my hand down for that hook. I'm just going to turn my hand here or here. Uppercut, same thing. I'm going to keep it at my chin level, and it's here. Okay. Now, typically, he should always punch across. There he goes, just like that. All right, so that way you always know how to read the pad and nothing changes. But everything is being held in tight. Now, if I'm doing body shots, for example, I might drop the pad right here. Or if I want him to do a body hook, kind of putting it on the side, on either side. Overhands, if he's throwing like an overhand punch, I'm keeping it in nice and tight. I might give him a little gauge there. But everything's in tight and it's realistic. Okay, I'm never just overhand, way out here, hook punch. Okay, we're never doing that. Everything's in close, making it real. So moving on, let's go ahead and talk about how to hold the Tombstone Pad. So another great pad, this is actually almost universal. You can do just about any strike with this one. Whenever we hold it, okay, I typically like to have people hold the outside handles. There's different trains of thoughts on this. You can slide your hands through. Okay, my wrists are a little bit too big to get through there, but then you can grab. That just gives extra support. What I like to do is hold the outside handles and use my palms to push against it. I'm not a big fan of ever holding here, just because if he's hitting, that's going to be the vibrations and the force and everything is going to be hitting my hand. So when my hands are out here, there's nothing really to hit against. Now, whether it's punches or palm strikes or hammer fists, I want to make sure that I'm giving the appropriate angle. So I'll tilt the pad. Now, for punches, typically I like to hold it against my chest here. That way he has something solid to hit against. If it's palm strikes, same concept. You can hold it here. And what that does is it conditions me to know what it's kind of like to get hit. Now, can I hold it out and away from me? Absolutely. You can throw punches or palm strikes there. But notice my elbows are bent. I'm in a good stance. Okay. If you're very uncomfortable with it being on your chest, you can slightly move over a little bit, okay, and have it off to the side there, like so. All right. If it's going to be hammer fist, like a forward hammer fist or downward hammer fist, I want to make sure that I give the appropriate angle. Now, if they're hitting really hard, I can sometimes use my leg and help out, okay, when they strike. Now, some pads have zippers, So, if you're going to flip a pad over, make sure that the zipper's far away, or you can have it this direction when he's striking. Hammer fists are tilted up. Now, if he was going to throw side hammer fist, think about the silhouette of the body. Okay, if he's aiming for the face, it's not this big, so it's here. Okay, so turn this way. So I may hold the pad this direction for side hammer fist, giving him a small target to hit. When we're doing forward hammer fist, you have the collarbones to hit. When we're doing straight punches, you can hit the face, you can hit the body, you have different areas, so that's why we're holding this way. Now, can you hold punches and palm strikes this way? Absolutely you can, given a much smaller target, a little bit more advanced way of doing it to where he's there. But there is danger, because if he slips off, he could hit you. So, especially for a lot of beginners, this is where we're at, much bigger surface area to hit. All right, if we're going to do kicks or knees, depending on the kick, if it's like a front kick or back kick, I'm going to have the pad this direction. If it's a side kick, because his foot's now going to turn, I'm going to turn with it. That way there's a bigger surface area as he's striking. So his foot sideways, I want him to hit somewhere here. Versus a front kick, he has a smaller target that he's going with, so if he grazed, could definitely hit me. I don't want that. But with the side kick, he could miss anywhere here, but I'd still be okay because of his body alignment. Front kick, if he misses, I don't have a lot of room to work with. All right, if we're going down lower for knees or groin kicks, I'm going to put the pad, hold on one second. I'm going to put the pad away from me. I'm going to be holding it with my elbows bent so he can throw the kicks, or maybe a thrust knee from there as well. But my elbows are bent, and I'm going to do that force on force. I'm going to meet him groin kick. I'm here, and time. So now let's discuss holding for the side of somebody or the back of somebody, whether those are elbows or hammer fists that are being thrown, even like side kicks and back kicks. But if we are holding on the side of him, it's best to hold it up and down, just because of the angle that the strike is coming from. We want to give them a lot of area to hit. When I'm here, this is very advanced. You better be spot on because of the body alignment and how the pad is. So this protects us a little bit more. Once again, holding it on your body or maybe holding it away, either one is fine and time. If we go to the back, obviously he's not being able to see us. So sometimes giving a physical touch with the pad on the side that you want them to hit with is important, whether he's turning all the way or if he's just going to kind of throw a back elbow. So with this one right here, all right. Now we do have like body shot elbows that he could use. I may kind of tap right there so he could hit it. So it all depends on what you're doing from the back, just making sure that we touch and hold the pad appropriately. Also, a few other things that we can do is different kicks, so you can get fancy with it. We could hold for like slap kicks or crescent kicks here, right? So you're just holding it out. If you wanted to hold for like an axe kick, for example, you're going to hold one handle. I'm just going to put pressure on this side, so that way when he goes over, it falls right out. Versus holding with both hands, then obviously something bad's about to happen there. Yeah, you could get fancier and hold for like jump knees or something like that. So you could come here, hopping up, whatever it is that you're doing. There's, like I said, a very universal pad as long as the body alignment and the pad are done correctly. Because if he's doing a jump knee and I'm holding this way and he messes up, okay, my arm might get hit or something. So I want to give him a bigger target to hit when he's first practicing. If you wanted to work with an advanced class, then maybe turning it the other way. But those are just a few different advanced things and getting a little bit crazier with it. So now moving to the kicking shield. So the kicking shield is typically a bigger pad. They have this variation. You guys have all seen these as well. But we're just going to use this one for now. Once again, great way to use the outside handles preferably. The way that I like to think about this is my foot will always go in the crease of the pad, or my shin, depending on the kick that I'm doing. So the reason for the bigger pad for doing the kicks is just to be on the safer side. Like I said, we could use the Tombstone for kick, but that's more of an advanced thing. Using this one, it's a much bigger surface area, so if they do mess up or they're not accurate with their kicks yet, at least the pad holder is going to be more protected. So once again, we want to make sure we're in a good stance, we're holding it nice and strong. So the foot would go in the crease of the pad. So right now he would be throwing a front kick, okay, like so. If I turn the pad, well, the foot would go in the crease. Now, could he still throw front kicks from here? Absolutely. But like we were talking about earlier, it's better for the foot to go in the crease of the pad. And if you think about the target, it got a little bit smaller. Good chance that maybe he misses and grazes and catches my ribs or something. But if he turns and does a side kick, Okay, he has all of this to go with, up and down. On this one, you can hold the corners, you can hold the handles, wherever you feel comfortable. When you start holding for round kicks, for example, if we're doing low round kicks, this is so important. I always like to tell my students we're always training. So what I'm going to have my students do is think about absorbing a round kick. So if they're doing low round kicks, they're going to have their toes pointed in that direction. I will go to my fighting stance, kind of a southpaw right now. I'm going to place it on my quad, never on the side of our leg. It's going to be a really bad day for your knee if they are to catch you there. So always turning it, holding both handles, and when he kicks, I'm going to kind of lunge towards him and absorb. So he kicks, I'm right there. I'm going into it. If we go higher with the kick, I'm going to take the handles and I'm just going to bring it to the side of my body. I don't want to crisscross, because then when I put my arm like that, my whole arm is going to feel that kick. So it's actually better to come here and put it on the side of our body. So he throws that kick. Once again, I'll kind of push a little bit. I want the force on force. I never just want to take the full impact of the kick. Go ahead. It's not going to feel good on the ribs. So we push a little bit with that pad as he's kicking. Coming over here, same thing, and we're kicking. Okay, if we wanted to do back kicks, once again, you can have it here, or a drill that I like to do, so that way I don't have to say it. I'll just flip the pad over. That represents a back kick. But you can always keep it here as well for back kicks, spinning back kicks. Once again, jumping or flying knees, flying side kicks, whatever kick you're doing, we can extend it out for tornado kicks or crescent kicks, or whatever it is that you're practicing that day. So once again, very universal, but better, bigger pad for kicks. That way the pad holder is a little bit more protected, obviously, since the legs are so much stronger.